We live in a world obsessed with the new. New restaurants, new ingredients, new experiences that push the boundaries of what we know about food. New techniques, foams, gels, and whatever the hell else those maniacs in the culinary labs are cooking up. It's all about the next big thing, the next culinary revolution. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate innovation as much as the next guy. The creativity and artistry that go into these modern dishes are truly remarkable. But sometimes, I crave something different, something real, something with a story. A dish that has stood the test of time and carries with it the essence of those who made it. Something that whispers of generations past. A recipe that has been passed down, not because it was trendy, but because it was loved. That's the beauty of forgotten recipes. They are treasures hidden in plain sight, waiting to be rediscovered and brought back to life. They're like culinary time capsules offering a glimpse into the lives, loves, and kitchens of those who came before us. Think about it. Each recipe is a snapshot of a moment in time. Every family has its own culinary history, a unique tapestry woven with the flavors and aromas of their heritage. Recipes passed down through generations, often scribbled on faded index cards or tucked away in dusty old cookbooks. These are the heirlooms of the kitchen. These aren't just recipes, they're stories waiting to be told. Stories of love, of family, of survival. Stories of Sunday dinners, holiday feasts, and simple weeknight meals shared with loved ones. Each dish, a delicious echo of a time gone by. Each dish, a delicious echo of a time gone by. A reminder of the warmth and comfort of home-cooked meals. These recipes tell us so much more than just what people ate. They reveal their customs, their beliefs, even their struggles. They are a window into the past. They reveal their customs, their beliefs, even their struggles. A pinch of saffron speaks of trade routes in faraway lands. A pinch of saffron speaks of trade routes in faraway lands. A simple stew made with whatever meager ingredients were on hand tells a story of resilience and resourcefulness. A simple stew made with whatever meager ingredients were on hand tells a story of resilience and resourcefulness. These forgotten foods are a direct link to our ancestors. These forgotten foods are a direct link to our ancestors, a way to taste the past and understand it a little better. To me, rediscovering these recipes isn't just about preserving culinary traditions. To me, rediscovering these recipes isn't just about preserving culinary traditions. It's about connecting with the people who created them. It's about feeling a part of something bigger than ourselves. It's about connecting with the people who created them. It's about keeping their memories alive, one bite at a time. It's about honoring their legacy and passing it on to future generations. It's about keeping their memories alive, one bite at a time. Each meal becomes a tribute, a celebration of those who came before us and the rich culinary heritage they left behind. So, where do you find these culinary ghosts? These hidden gems of the past that tell stories through flavors and aromas? They're hiding in plain sight, tucked away in attics and basements, often forgotten and gathering dust. In the back of dusty cupboards and forgotten corners of used bookstores, these culinary relics await discovery. They're scribbled in the margins of old letters, stained with the tears and laughter of generations past. Each note, a whisper from history. Sometimes they're whispered from the lips of our grandparents, their voices cracking with age and memory, recounting tales of family feasts and festive gatherings. I've been lucky enough to unearth these culinary gems in some pretty unexpected places. Each discovery feels like a small victory, a connection to the past. I found a recipe for my great-grandmother's legendary apple pie scrawled on the back of a faded postcard from Paris. It was a delightful surprise, a piece of family history in my hands. It was tucked inside a worn copy of Escoffier's Guide to Modern Cookery, a book she probably never even opened, yet it held a treasure that transcended time. Another time I stumbled upon a tattered handwritten cookbook in a flea market in Marrakesh. The book was a portal to another world, filled with culinary secrets. It was filled with recipes from a Jewish family who had lived in Morocco for generations. Each recipe a testament to their rich cultural heritage. Dishes like spicy fish tagines and honey-soaked pastries fragrant with the spices of North Africa painted a vivid picture of their lives. But the real treasure trove is often found closer to home. Talk to your family. Engage in conversations that bridge the past and the present. Ask your aunts, uncles, grandparents about the dishes they remember from their childhoods. Their stories are the threads that weave the fabric of your culinary heritage. You'll be surprised at what stories they uncover, stories that are rich with tradition, love, and the essence of family. These conversations are more than just about food. They are about understanding where you come from and appreciating the journey of those who came before you. They're about family history, cultural heritage, and the simple joy of sharing a meal and a memory. In these moments we find the true essence of our culinary treasures. Let me tell you, tracking down these culinary relics is an adventure in itself. It's not just about finding a recipe, it's about uncovering a story, a piece of history that has been tucked away, waiting to be rediscovered. It's like being a culinary Indiana Jones, minus the fedora and the whip, though a good set of kitchen knives can come in handy. Each recipe is a treasure map, leading you to a culinary gem that has been hidden for years, sometimes centuries. You'll encounter faded ink, cryptic instructions, and measurements like a pinch and a dollop, which, as any cook knows, are about as precise as a drunkard's aim. These old recipes often require a bit of detective work, piecing together clues from the past to recreate a dish that has long been forgotten. And then there's the language. The terminology used in these old cookbooks can be baffling. Words and phrases that have fallen out of use or have completely different meanings today can make the process even more challenging. Old recipes often use ingredients and techniques that have long since fallen out of fashion. You might find yourself hunting for ingredients that are no longer readily available, or trying to replicate cooking methods that have been replaced by modern conveniences. You'll find yourself deciphering words like aspic and lard and wondering if anyone actually enjoyed eating this stuff. But these ingredients were staples in their time, and understanding their use is key to unlocking the flavors of the past. But trust me, the rewards are worth the effort. There's a deep sense of satisfaction in bringing an old recipe back to life, in tasting a dish that hasn't been cooked in decades, and in sharing that experience with others. There's a certain thrill in deciphering a cryptic recipe, in tracking down an obscure ingredient, in tasting a dish that hasn't been cooked in decades. It's like being a culinary archaeologist, unearthing a piece of history and bringing it back to life. It's like unearthing a piece of history and bringing it back to life. Each dish tells a story, and by recreating it you become a part of that story, connecting with the past in a very tangible way. One of my most memorable culinary excavations took me to a tiny village in the Italian Alps. The journey itself was an adventure, winding through narrow mountain roads and picturesque landscapes. I was searching for the recipe for a legendary chestnut cake that had been passed down through generations of a local family. This cake was more than just a dessert, it was a symbol of the village's heritage and traditions. The recipe was a closely guarded secret, but after weeks of cajoling and a few too many glasses of grappa with the village elders, I finally convinced them to share it. It was a moment of triumph, a culmination of patience, persistence, and a lot of good-natured negotiation. Let's just say it involved a lot of hand gesturing, a healthy dose of laughter, and a whole lot of trust. In the end, it wasn't just about the recipe, it was about the connections made, the stories shared, and the joy of bringing a piece of culinary history back to life. Now let's talk about the food itself. These forgotten recipes aren't about fancy techniques or exotic ingredients. They're about simple, honest flavors. Flavors that have been lost in our quest for the new and the novel. You'll find dishes that are hearty and comforting like slow-cooked stews and rustic breads. Dishes that are bursting with fresh seasonal ingredients. Dishes that are both familiar and surprising like a forgotten melody that suddenly comes back to you. One of my favorite rediscoveries was a recipe for a simple tomato sauce from my grandmother's collection. No fancy San Marzano tomatoes, no imported olive oil, just canned tomatoes, garlic, onion, and a sprig of basil. But the flavor? It was like a revelation. The sweetness of the tomatoes, the pungent aroma of the garlic, the subtle anise note of the basil. It was all there, in perfect harmony. It reminded me that sometimes the simplest things in life are truly the most delicious. Take, for example, a recipe I found for something called poor man's pudding. Sounds depressing, right? Don't be fooled. This simple dessert made with stale bread, milk, sugar, and spices is a revelation. It's humble, yes, but also incredibly delicious. A testament to the ingenuity of cooks who could turn even the most basic ingredients into something special.